All right, should we move on to Matthew first? So, what do you think of the lineup, the choice of players against Napoli?
Well, I was actually disappointed in the midfield because in the defense there wasn't much room to tinker. So as well as for the front line, I think maybe we could have started with Ansu Fati instead of Griezmann to add a little bit of width. But playing Griezmann as well is a good idea because he can cover up defensively, especially seeing the level of Jordi Alba recently. But yeah, the choices in midfield were not my cup of tea, especially with both
Do you
Rakitic and
think do you think Rakitic should have started?
the thing is, we didn't also have much choice. We would have played with either Rakitic or Sergio Roberto, but at least we should have played Ricky Puig as well with Frankie de Jong.
Yeah. So
So
that's what I'm thinking. Should Frankie have been the pivot while Puig and Roberto lined up right in front?
yeah, exactly. That would have been the least worst midfield possible due to the suspensions. But
Mm-hmm.
I've read somewhere that when Semedo and Sergio Roberto played in the same flank, we lost a lot of points in La Liga. So it's a matter of the least of two evils. But yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been the least bad midfield we could have opted for.
Mm-hmm. Fahad, how about you? What do you think about the lineup against Napoli?
I think it was. I think it was fine. I think Rakitic's inclusion is hard to justify, but you have to keep in mind that Setien doesn't have too many options. Busquets was not there. De Jong started, luckily for us. Ricky Puig, it's a dangerous game. Imagine it backfired or he had a bad game. So I think Setien is playing safe. He wants to get to the last three games where anything can happen. We are in the last three now, quarterfinal,
Mm-hmm.
semi, and final. So I think, in my opinion, given the noise around the club, given the controversies, Messi's renewal, Ter Stegen's renewal, all these things going on in the background with the board changing and, everyone talking against Bartomeu, I think he was just playing safe. And
Yeah.
Rakitic, he doesn't give anything offensively. This is known. But it was a safe choice in a sense that he is someone who puts his body in the way. I find positives very hard to enlist for Rakitic. But there are fans who like him. And I think Rakitic has respect in this team. So people count on him. And you could see how involved he was with De Jong. He gave away the penalty, yes. But before the penalty, I believe he was fine. We should stop expecting Rakitic to contribute offensively. I think for that, we had De Jong. And for that, we had Messi dropping deep as well. So should Rakitic start tomorrow? I don't know. I'm still not sure on this. If he doesn't start, then we have Vidal, Busquets, and De Jong starting. Puig is not going to start. Ricky Puig is not going to start. I don't think he's going to start.
I don't see him
It's a very
starting as well
game.
at this stage.
High-stakes game, electric game. Leon Goretzka and Thiago around him, I'm not sure. But the thing is, Rakitic, should he start? For me, it's 50-50. I don't see the point of him starting, but you never know, man. The guy, in one of these games, he just could pull out something. So we just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Tactically speaking, he has no space. Against Napoli, he was okay. He was okay in the first half. I wouldn't say he was really bad. I expected a lot worse. He was fine. Second half was very poor. But then again, the whole team's level dropped. So the single out Rakitic, I don't see the point. But he was all right. It was a game of two halves for him, actually. So he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
First half was okay. I think his pass completion, I was looking at it, was 88, 87%. It's fine. If you look, he attempted some 40-something passes. So it's okay. It wasn't that bad. But the thing is, second half, again, it was a problem. It was a concern for us in the second half. And the fact that Ricky Puig wasn't given an outing. I don't want to talk too much about the game that has already gone and we have qualified.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, Setien will have to take some risks tomorrow. Bayern are very strong. They are stronger than Napoli. The defense is quite strong. So I'm not sure. Is Jerome Boateng starting or it's Nicolas Schule for tomorrow?
I'm not sure. Matthew, do you know?
Actually, there are doubts. Boateng might play, so I assume Schürrle would play.
Okay, so we can target him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely new guy, so we can target him. But the thing is, Again, on the question of Rakitic, I don't know. I'll leave it to you guys. What do you guys think, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Busquets is coming back anyway. I think he'll be ready for the game against Bayern. So I don't see Rakitic starting himself anyway. I'd say Puig, Busquets, De Jong, and maybe Vidal. I'm not sure.
So it's really between Vidal and Rakitic, by the way, because there is no way they can
pretty much.
They can sit De Jong out. No, not after that performance. And there's no way Busquets is going to go out. The club captain, and they're Mr. Dependable in these stages of the Champions League. So I think it's between Vidal and Rakitic. Looking at Bayern's team, I think Setien is going to go with, in my understanding, he's going to go with Rakitic. This is what I have a feeling he's going to go with Rakitic.
Yeah, there is a journalist from Radio Catalunya, and he says that Setien was disappointed by Rakitic with his performance against Napoli. So
we have all been disappointed all season. I don't think it's new.
It's true. So I see them lining up with Busquets, Vidal, and Frenkie de Jong. But back to the Napoli game, what do you guys think about the game itself?
I think I enjoyed the first half. I really enjoyed. Nobody mentioned Semedo's performance in the first half. I'm very surprised. Yeah. He pinned back Insigne. Insigne couldn't come forward. I mean, the only time I noticed Insigne coming up was around the 30-35 minutes mark, and in the beginning when he laid a pass and it hit the pole. I don't think Semedo let Insigne breathe at all, and a very good performance. It was very Dani Alves-esque. Second half was bad. Again, Semedo, we know Semedo's problem. It's the end result. So again, he couldn't really move into the channels. I don't want to talk too much about second half. I don't want to get too pessimistic. It was a very bad performance. But I think based on first half, it was a great performance. Semedo should have been talked too much. It should have been mentioned more in the appreciation after the game. He wasn't really mentioned by the fans or by the
media. Do you think the way the fullbacks pushed up and the midfielders sat back, do you think it was appropriate the way
we have no choice? We have no choice. If you're going to line up 4-4-2, what are you going to do? There's no other choice. You cannot expect Suarez. It's not 2016. He's not going to drift on the wing and play balls in. Messi is not going to go on the wings too much. And Semedo was so good that he invited Messi on the wing, and Messi exchanged with him. So the fullbacks need to push up. I'm not very convinced with Jordi Alba's performance. I'm never convinced by him anyway. But
me neither. I think he's been shaky all season.
Shaky, very, very, very shaky. Yeah. And he has this problem that he doesn't pick his head up once he comes in near the 6-yard box. He doesn't look up. I don't know, like so much experience, and you have to look up. But I think Semedo was really good. Napoli had problems. I think Bayern will have problems. I don't know. Is Benjamin Pavard starting, or is going to be?
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Pavard
no. Pavard is he is not available. Most likely, either Kimmich or Odriozola. No, at right back, either Kimmich or Odriozola will play.
Odriozola is a liability.
Did Pavard not play in the Chelsea game?
I don't think so. No, I think he is most likely injured. No,
I think Benjamin Pavard had a suspension. Yeah, he had a suspension.
Yeah, it's Kimmich and Davies who played as the fullbacks for Bayern against Chelsea.
Alphonso Davies, I haven't really watched too much of him. I can't really think. But just like the Napoli game in the first half, if our fullbacks push up, it will be a tough night for Bayern. Really, it's no doubting that, because they struggled when in the group stages as well, if you notice, against the teams that are pushing up the fullbacks and the wingers. So we don't have wingers. If Ansu Fati starts tomorrow, it could be very nice. It could be very electric, but it's too good to be true. He's not going to start. So I think fullbacks will have a larger role.
What do you think, Matthew? What do you think about the game against Napoli?
As Fahad said, the first half was pretty enjoyable. Applying the context, of course, that the midfield wasn't exactly fully working in a creative role. Like only Frenkie was proactively participating in chance creation. Meanwhile, Rakitic and Sergio Roberto had more reactive defensive roles. Sergio Roberto mostly helped Semedo cover, and it was actually a nice interchanging between them, marking Insigne after the game. It was very nice of them from both. Rakitic, before Lenglet's goal, he was a little bit shaky. had a few bad passes, but I'm not gonna comment much on his game because the first half was actually decent. He participated in the build-up for Messi's goal. He actually perhaps was the one who gave the ball to Suarez between the lines before Suarez switched play to Leo. I think so. The second half, well, everything fell apart for us. We just fell back. I don't think the team is ready in terms of physical fitness because
do you think it's a fatigue issue between the players?
I actually have no idea because when you check the other side, Napoli also had fatigue problems, but it's because they played recently. They played a lot of games recently in Serie A. In the other hand, we finished our league games a few weeks before. So I have no idea if they're still not playing, if they're not practicing as they should be or anything. Anyway, when it comes to the game, I think, to me, Longley was the best player, was the best performer. Defensively, he was solid. He scored a goal, even if I personally think it should have been rolled off because there was a foul in the play. Then we go on to mention, of course, Leo. What can I say that hasn't been said already? Frankie, of course, excellent performance. And just like Fahad said, Semedo was really good. Back to Jordi Alba, I don't know if everyone noticed, but he got more shaky and more prone to error when pressed after Anfield. He started clearing his balls at slightest.
Yeah, I noticed it more this season as well. I think he's been rusty for at least 2 seasons, but this one has been, I think, probably his worst season to date. What do you think?
He has been demolished mentally. He's beyond done. We should look for another fallback.
But what are the alternate guys? What are the alternate? Are we looking at Junior Firpo as someone?
No. But the thing is, with him, I would say he needs more time because Setien has worked with him before. So I would say next season, so when the league starts again, to see a bigger inclusion of him.
Right.
I mean, regular play time.
I mean, this season I was expecting Firpo to rise. I mean, after January, I was expecting him to, show us something. But to be very honest, there has been so much toxic culture around the club, so much negativity around the club, and the rise of Fatih has been a miracle. It's a miracle how much appreciated he has been. Otherwise, so many young players have been overlooked this season, doing well in the Barça B team, and even Firpo. Firpo is a very decent player. Anybody who has watched him in Real Betis team, he is definitely an upgrade when it comes to defensive contributions in this team over Alba. There's no doubt about this. Offensively, he is not much. Alba might be better in some ways in passing and getting into spaces. But defensively, Firpo is very good. I don't know, but he hasn't been really given the chance to shine properly. I think he was injured as well for 2 months. It's not easy. He's very young, and he is someone Setien likes, and he's Setien's buy. So I think he should stay in this team, and he should stay in the club and show what he can do. I have good expectations from him. Having watched him at Betis.
Mm-hmm. For the Champions League game coming up, and I was thinking this during the second half against Napoli as well. I think we need to start Fatih, for the 1v1 situations, because we don't really have anyone else other than Messi who's capable of doing it. And especially because Suarez can produce a moment of brilliance throughout the game. But I think both me and Matthew would agree now that I think it's around time that someone else takes charge of their home. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Fatih should start? Would you say Fatih should start against Bayern?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We should count on Fatih just to, for starters, to pin back the fallback, because it's either Odriozola or Kimmich who will start because Pavard is not available. So in that way, we will limit at least one source of threat, and that is Kimmich's crossing to Lewandowski. And at the same time, it will allow us to have a little bit of numerical superiority. Now, Gnabry will also be a little bit more concerned with Jordi Alba and his bursts of pace. So, obviously, we should have a winger, and the only one available for the moment is Ansu Fati. We shouldn't.
But with Griezmann, Griezmann often plays on the left, and the issue is that a lot of people would have liked to see him play more centrally. The 9 role. I've seen a lot of people say similar things. Do you think that's? I don't think it can be done this late into the season, especially with an important game against Bayern coming up. But what do you think maybe potentially next season about Messi playing out wide on the right, Fati on the left, and then Griezmann central?
I think Griezmann playing centrally should be forgotten completely. It's because if Messi and Suarez are still here, Griezmann should only adapt to playing on the flanks. That's his only position. Because prior with Atletico Madrid or L'Équipe de France, he always played behind a striker, Giroud or Diego Costa, Morata, Fernando Torres. It's always the same. He always played as a support. We don't play that way with Barcelona right now. If there is a player who should be support, it's Messi because he's the most creative player in the squad. So next season, maybe if we are rotating, use Griezmann as a false 9 like we did against Valencia 5-2 or Betis, same score earlier this season. That would be great.
Yep.
Other than that, I only see him as a player who will play on the flanks and mostly use his ability to play quickly, one-touch passes, associative play, and make runs to the box. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, what do you think about the Bayern game? What would you still line up the same way? The front three, would it be Griezmann, Suarez, and Messi for you, or do you think? What do you think? Because if you said you want to include Fati, but where would you play him? Would you play Messi centrally? Would you play Fati on the right?
Actually, no. I say play Messi on the right. He's been looking physically fresh, really fit against Napoli, like we've seen before. He took the knock against Koulibaly. Play a front line of Messi, Suarez, and Ansu Fati. Ansu on the left, Messi on the right. Messi would handle Alphonso Davies, and Ansu would handle either Odriozola or Kimmich.
So, would you see Griezmann benched?
I would prefer if Griezmann is benched, yes.
Okay. Fahad, how about you?
Interesting. In an ideal world, I would say Griezmann centrally, Messi on the right, and Ansu Fati on the left. It would give Bayern a lot of problems. But we don't live in an ideal world, and Suarez is going to start for sure. It may be his last season. He is going to start for sure. So I think Suarez, just like Matthew said, Suarez in the middle, Messi on the right, Fati on the left should start. But I think Setien will go with Suarez, Griezmann, Messi. It's a heavyweight lineup. Griezmann on the flank. He works hard. He's going to track back everyone. His work ethic. I don't think Ansu Fati has Griezmann's work ethic. So I think Griezmann will start. Griezmann, Suarez, Messi it's going to happen. Ansu Fati is not going to start tomorrow. And not only he's too young, but it's also there is no shock value left down the game. After 60 minutes, there's no one left. So I think Setien would want to bring in Fati around 70 minutes mark when Bayern players are really tired. And I think it's a good strategy. If you're talking about 90 minutes, remember, it's not about 2 legs. So I think it's okay. If to see, I would want Griezmann, Suarez, and Messi start up and just do your bits, guys. Do what you can do best.
Yeah. Were you guys happy with the press when Napoli had the ball?
Very good. Very happy in the first half. Very happy with the press. Other than the first 5 minutes, the first half I'm talking about, I'm very happy with the press. Second half, the whole team kind of settled back. I mean, the confidence was a bit short after the goal. And then they didn't want to risk anything because one more goal and it's 3-2. So, and an away goal, Napoli can go through. So there was this psychological thing, thanks to our last 2 seasons, fiascos. It was on the player's mind. You could see Alba's body language. He hasn't moved on. So it was there. And I think judging Barcelona or expecting the second half Barcelona to turn up against Bayern is a mistake. We will not be turning up tomorrow like that. We will turn up how we turned up in the first half. I'm pretty sure. But the thing is that I was happy with the press. I was very happy. And Napoli are easier to press if you think. There were no ball carriers. Zelensky was a ball carrier, the only one. Who was the? I mean, there was no one else.
Fabian.
Yeah, Fabian was there. Again, very good player. But again, not someone, who was going to do what Goretzka can do or Thiago can do, or even Corentin Tedesco can do. So it's not the way, But I think to press Bayern will be difficult, more difficult. But I think we will do it. We will press them. And if not in the first 10 minutes, we might, sit back just to invite them to come. But we will press somewhere around the first half. And I'm sure if Griezmann is starting up top, up front, I'm sure we will press. We'll pin back Boateng if he starts. We'll pin back their fullbacks. I'm confident about that.
It makes sense if Vidal starts, if we are going to attack Bayern in their own half.
Why do you think Vidal
he's kind of a workhorse as well.
Yeah, Vidal is more working, and he doesn't fear putting his body on the line. Unlike Rakitic. Rakitic is a more conservative marking player. You don't always see him putting his leg to get the ball. Unlike Vidal isn't scared of committing fouls or getting the contact.
You don't think Vidal's approach is a bit of a risk? We are just talking about 90 minutes here, and he leaves holes behind. He leaves people to run behind him, the spaces he leaves behind.
It all depends on how Setien approaches the game, actually, because if we approach the game in a term of, come on, we're going to press Bayern, we're not going to allow them to get the ball out of their own half. We're going to have to field Vidal at one point because, as I said, he is the most working player in our squad alongside Griezmann. He is going to press and he's going to harass his marker. Personally, I would put him on Thiago just to limit Thiago's movement, to limit him on the ball. And the other players of the midfield, they won't do anything because, as I said, Kimmich most probably will play on the flank. So we'd have Goretzka. Goretzka isn't exactly a very vertical midfielder when it comes to having the ball at his feet. He's more like box-to-box.
Yeah, box-to-box.
The ball, and he makes the run to the box. And they only have a double pivot.
Busquets, Vidal, and Frenkie de Jong. I think that's like the most realistic, and I think that's the best midfield that we can start right now against Bayern. I'd have loved to see Puig, but obviously it's a big game. And I don't think he's even physically capable of playing at least the first half or more. So what do you think? Don't you think, because Fahad mentioned it earlier, there is a risk associated with him because he can be a little reckless, and it is just one leg. So it's not something that we can take care of in the second leg if he does mess up. So Matthew, what do you think? Do you think he should still start?
Yeah, and when it comes to Vidal, of course, there will always be a risk with that type of player because he's, how can I say, violent. He loves the contact. He just likes to get in the mud. So, yes, there is always...
He's gonna give Goretzka a tough time, man, that's for sure, if he starts.
Yeah, he's going to give Goretzka a run for his money, but personally, as I said before, I would just pin him on Thiago. Like, man mark him, track him, anything, just to limit his ability on the ball. It will be the best thing possible because that way you just nullify the entire midfield of Bayern because Kimmich is not playing there. Goretzka, he will just have to take the easy pass and then make the run to more dangerous areas. And Muller, definitely he won't help. There is the possibility of Gnabry or Coman to get down and help the midfield leave their areas. Then again, that would give us more space for Leo, Griezmann if he plays, Ansu, Semedo, Jordi Alba. We should play the most, not only the most cohesive and creative midfield, but also the one who can nullify Thiago. We nullify Thiago, we have a big chance of winning.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that there won't be any change. But I think we're all confident in saying that the back line, the back four, will stay the back four from the match against Napoli. And I think it is just Rakitic or Vidal that we see a change in. So I think Setien will eventually go with Vidal starting. And we've discussed the front three before, but what do you guys think about Dembele? Because he's included in the squad. I don't think any of us will say that he should start the game. I think we will all agree that he should come around the second half, maybe a little later. What do you think, Fahad?
Just before the Dembele question about Vidal, if Setien thinks that we're going to press, if you're going to go all out, it's all or nothing, then Vidal must start if you're going to press. But if you're going to play safe and wait how the game progresses, second half open up more, then Rakitic is a good bet. He will be very conservative. He will he does the running. There's one thing you can't doubt that he does the running. So just on that, if you're going to press Bayern, there's no point starting Rakitic because he can't press for, even if his life depends on it. So he's not going to do it. But if you're going to, play it safe, then Rakitic is a good bet to start. Vidal is not going to play conservatively. On the Dembele question, I don't think he should start. He should start at all. I think he should come in the last 10 minutes. I don't even see him coming, before Ansu Fati. Fati should come around 65, 68. But no, there's no way Dembele should come anywhere around that. In the last 10 minutes, maybe, yeah. But if the game is on deadlock, 1-1, 0-0, then I see the point. But if you're up 2-1, if you're up 2 goals, inshallah. If you're up to 3-1 or 2-0, then not even then, Dembele should not even come in, as far as I'm concerned.
I see him on max playing 15 minutes. I wouldn't want to see him play any longer. And I agree, Fati should come in earlier because he's fit and he's
and he
played
deserves
recently
it.
as well.
As per the merit, he has to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see him playing if we advance and beat Bayern? Do you see him starting maybe the next match, or would you say the same thing? Yeah, Dembele.
So we are playing City, right? If City wins, then we win against Bayern.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, we are playing City. So no,
getting very hopeful, guys. I'm
getting hopeful, guys. But he asked a question. No, even against City, no, not Dembele should not play.
Okay, Matthew, what do you think? Do you think he should play maybe 10 minutes or something, or?
I think it all depends actually on how the game goes. Just like Fahad said, obviously we should play him because his pace is always an element of danger, always an element of surprise, especially against tired legs. So yeah, I think give him around 15-20 minutes. That'll be great actually.
On whose expense? Who should go out?
I think Vidal. If he has a card, you take him out. Leave a double pivot of Busquets and Frenkie de Jong. Put Messi centrally, leave whoever occupies the left flank, and put Dembele on the right. That's his favorite position.
We in the game against Napoli, Setien only used 2 subs. So I think he may use 3 this time if Dembele is fit and included. But
we are allowed to make 5, no?
In the Champions League, I don't think so. I think that was only the league. No, sorry, you're right. Yeah, in the Champions League as well. Yeah, because Napoli made 5 changes.
I've just seen Atalanta use 5 subs.
Yeah, you're right. Five changes in the Champions League. And, Setien only using 2. Don't you think that's a bit of an issue?
Yeah, that's infuriating, actually. I was expecting the 5 subs. And he just...
Guys, I don't think it was allowed to do 5. Because it was a continuation of the first leg. I think from this round, it's 5. Not from the last round. From quarterfinals.
No, there was 5. Napoli had 5 changes against us in the second leg.
Really?
Yeah, but the thing is, Setien. Then again, if you looked at who was on our bench, so let me just quickly pull up the players that we had on our bench. You can't really blame him. So we had Pena, Neto, Mingueza, Firpo, Araujo, Puig, Orellana, Monchu, Rice, De La Fuente, and Fati. So you can't really blame him. I think maybe Fati should have come on.
I think we definitely can blame Setien because honestly, even if you have 3 subs and you use 2 of them, why for the love of God, Monchu and Firpo? You could have played Ricky Puig and Ansu Fati. We would have scored more.
But those are really offensive options, Matthew. Don't you think that it wasn't needed? Yeah.
I actually don't mind if we go on the offensive because at that point, Napoli will live in a lot of space.
You're right. Yeah. It's all about the mindset.
If we put Ansu on the left and with the fullback Di Lorenzo, its name, he used to advance really high, and we put Fati on the left, he would have acres of space to run into. He would have definitely scored.
That's true. But you know how if you guys want a boxing analogy, it's how Mayweather fights. Like you just score, and just sit back. The last rounds. No need to go forward. No need to take risks. Cost you the game.
Yeah.
So start hard, and then I'm sure we're all disappointed. I was expecting Fati to actually come on and score the way they were tired. But that's how it is.
I think if we didn't concede the penalty at the end of the first half, we would have approached the second in a more
Exactly. Yeah. It affected the whole team. You could see how Elba was playing in the second half, how Rakitic was playing. It was all negative. It was very scared. We were very scared, actually.
Flashbacks of Roma.
Very, very scared, actually. So I could see only Messi was the only one who was actually telling everyone to come up the pitch. There was no one else, and it's lucky we had them on the arm's length. They couldn't really come near us. It was a good performance defensively, pragmatically speaking, in the Premier League language, solid. But Barca standards, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah. So considering the bench that we did have, we can't blame City and that as well. Maybe you could say Puig or Fati should have come in instead of Firpo and Munchu. But I think half of the bench consider players that haven't even made their debut for Barca yet. So
Puig is so aggressive on the ball, which is why City did not put him in. He's very aggressive. He always looks to go forward. It's never sideways.
Yeah.
So
he played it safe.
Maybe he didn't want to give Napoli, space to run in the middle or something like that. So that's understandable. But against Bayern, Matthew said Dembele should come in. But what about Fati then? Are you saying that Suarez, Griezmann both going out, or how would you adjust both Fati and Dembele coming in? How would you say that?
Personally, I'd start with Ansu Fati. I would start with the guy. Give him his 50, 60 minutes, then sub in Griezmann. And if Vidal gets his card, we sub him out. We put Dembele and shift from the 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. Busquets and De Jong double pivot. Messi behind Suarez. Dembele on the right. Griezmann on the left. And leave Suarez up front. Yeah.
So what do you guys think about, I want to know your opinion also on De Jong and Busquets. Apparently they don't play well together. A lot of propaganda in Catalonia about this. Many fans seem to say this. What do you guys think about this? Can they play together, De Jong and Busquets?
Surprisingly, I had the same feeling about Busquets and Artur. So I'm not sure. I think they play fine together. I think this is a new thing that people have come up with for no apparent reason. I think because even Busquets, if you think about it, the guy's been criticized heavily, not just by people in Barcelona itself. I think it's a matter of people just wanting him gone.
I think Boosie and Frankie can click on really well. The thing is, most people who casually watched Ajax, they think that De Jong is a true pivot, like Busquets, a true Barcelona pivot, which is not the case. The system at Ajax was kind of complicated. When you look at it, the midfield, it had Frankie, Laschona, and Donny van de Beek. And that midfield, it kept on rotating, kept on changing functions. One occupies the other one's place, and then the other one goes forward. Maybe this one plugs the gap left by a fullback. It was really complicated. So if you want Frankie de Jong to play like a pivot, you would have to adjust the entire team accordingly. Play players who would complement him really well. But with Busquets still available and still one of our best performers, he was one of the best performers in La Liga for us this season. You will always count on Frankie de Jong as a more of a carrying midfielder, the one who will always link up the midfield to the front line. And in games, he did it incredibly well, like the one against Napoli. He was the only creative outlet in the midfield, and he did extremely well. Against Betis, 2-3 away, he was really well. There are a lot of games we can bring up from what he played on the left or on the right. He used to be really good. So, yes, of course, I think him and Busquets can play together. There is no doubt about it.
What I think is that the more I watch Frankie, he's nothing like a pivot. At least not a Barcelona pivot. There's nothing in him that says that he's a pivot player. When I used to watch Sergi Samper in B teams, this guy is a pivot. Busquets is one. Roberto actually is a better pivot. Frankie is so all action. I don't see how it's like limiting himself if you tell him to, just play a pivot role. And I think it's nonsense for anybody who says that De Jong and Busquets can't play together. That's just it's just a social media attack. How people want to analyze the game, overanalyze. They had bad 2 games together. I remember this season, 2-3 games together. They had wasn't that great. But I think of course they can play together, and they will play so well. I have a feeling against Bayern.
Don't you think it's more of a criticism of Busquets himself? Like they bring Frankie into it, but I think they're mainly just trying to
So
criticize Busquets.
So Busquets is the most ridiculously criticized player.
Yeah, I agree.
The average age of the squad is 27 years old. Old players around him, no one moving, no one dynamic, and you blame Busquets for all that. That's nonsense.
Yeah, I agree.
That number one. Number two, let's assume that De Jong, he's not performing well because Busquets is taking his place. You saw De Jong playing against Napoli. He did not play like a pivot at all. Rakitic was the pivot, even then, even in the absence of Busquets. This guy loves to gallop forward. He's so good on the ball. I think he's better than Arthur on the ball. He goes so forward, and he's a risk taker. He has a good passing. That pass to Messi. What pivot in the world can do that? Who can do that? What he did.
The pass to Suarez. Before
the pass to Suarez.
Before Manolas tripped him. That was a really good ball.
And if you notice how he kept telling Alba to move in, like, I want to pass to you, play like, exchange passes, and Alba just couldn't understand what's going on. But the thing is, no, he's not a pivot. He's not a pivot. And people who say this are usually, those kind of conservative Barcelona fans who think that Busquets should be pushed out. He's getting old, should be made on the bench. Busquets in the prime. He's in the prime. And you will see against Thiago how he'll perform. He's in the prime of his career. So I think it'll be interesting. De Jong must start with Busquets. No need to, even think about all this or how they can't gel together. And the third one, I'm going to go against Matthew. I'm going to start Rakitic, actually. We're not going to press them too much. Players are too old, to press all 90 minutes. So I think Rakitic should start.
So to wrap things up, I think we should start wrapping things up. What do you guys think about the game against Bayern? What are your predictions? Do you think we can win? Or
this is the worst part. Okay.
Okay, just give me a score prediction. Give me a score prediction. Do you think we're going to lose? What's your score prediction?
Realistically, I think it will be like the France-Argentina game in the World Cup, and it will end only with one goal, even if one team is obviously worse. I think it will be like 3-2. We will lose.
2? Okay, we lose 3-2. What do you think, Fahad?
2-1. I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay. I would go for 2-1 to us as well.
Yeah.
And
I think we'll win.
Unless something like Anfield happens, and maybe even if we lose the game, but not too badly, and if we win the game, then we'll hold another podcast.
Ali. People talking about Roma and Liverpool, they're forgetting that we had a lead that we slept on.
Yeah.
There is no lead here, and this is the most attacked squad in Europe. People have attacked senselessly. We lost La Liga by 5 points. So I think there's this much dignity in this team that they will fight. And plus, everyone thinks we lose. We are going into this game as underdogs. This was not the case in 2015. Yeah, we went to the game as favorites. Yeah, so we are underdogs, and I think many players will surprise and have a good feeling about this game.
There is a little more pressure though because of the recent failures. Because I don't think we don't have the mentality of going into a game winning like we did with Roma and Liverpool. But there is this need for them to prove to them that they're still one of the best teams in the world. So I think there will be pressure, but not as much as before, because like you said, we are the underdogs. But games.
I think even if there is no pressure at all applied from the media, from fan base or anything, the team is mentally done. This team, this squad. It's mentally over. Rakitic, Alba, certain players, they should just go. That's the thing. And the fact that they're still playing, they will always have that memory, that shell shock of Roma and Liverpool. Always. It's
not just that, to be honest, Matthew, not just that. I think that these players, PK included, I'm going to include PK even though he's our best center back. PK, Rakitic, Busquets to a level, Suarez, Alba. These people have won so much. I don't see the hunger, to be very honest. When I watch the games, I don't see these people, biting on every ball, going for every second ball. It's not there. You saw how De Jong played. It's like the guy was hungry out. He you just unleash him on the players and he'll just go. He chased everyone down. So I think if you play like that, and I'm not saying you should run senselessly, but the hunger is not there. And I'm only counting on people like Griezmann, Fati, De Jong, what to prove this season. And I think they will shine tomorrow. I have a feeling.
Okay. Depending on the result, hopefully it doesn't go too bad against Bayern this week. We'll hold another podcast and we'll share our thoughts after the game if we're all free. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Great. Thank you guys for listening, and subscribe to the page. And the predictions are there. 2-1 to Barcelona from my side.
Yeah, leave your predictions in the comment box.
Leave your comments. Say fuck Rakitic.
Yeah, please insult Rakitic. Leave your predictions.